Welcome back to the Out of Bounds podcast. I'm Gavin Williams alongside
Charlie Calieri.
And today we just wrapped up week 8. We're on to week 9. We have some interesting conversations for the day. How are you doing today?
I mean, I'm good. We're at the halfway point now of the NFL season. Week 9, week 10 is about the halfway point, which is
trade deadline's coming up November 4th.
Yeah, which is those talks are going to be definitely accelerating definitely after Sunday, or this weekend's game, Sunday, Monday. Good slate of games this week too. Good slate of games last week. To start off, I think the biggest note that we have is that the New York Football Jets won a football game.
They did.
Justin Fields,
dramatic fashion too.
Aaron Glenn, Breece Hall, Isaiah Davis leading the way with their rushing. I think they had over 200 yards rushing combined. He had 244 passing yards. Justin Fields, obviously in the air, no picks, keeping the ball clean. Joe Flacco played well on the other side for the Bengals.
He balled out.
But 38 points was not enough for the Bengals to match the 39 that the Jets put up in dramatic fashion, like you said. At the end there, Breece Hall gets a snap, direct snap to him. Rolls, or was it direct snap? I don't know, whatever. He gets the ball, rolls out, pump fake one time. They don't bite on it, right? I thought, honestly, it was going to be a blown up play. He's rolling still, gets to the right, throws a great ball, better than Fields could probably throw one. Lofts went up to Mason Taylor, kind of mosses a guy. It was a sick catch.
Both feet in bounds.
Both feet in to win the game.
Fourth quarter comeback.
39-38. They converted a 2-point conversion before that, which was clutch, which was a gutsy play too. And just winning that game by 1. It's a huge thing for the Jets right now going into the bye week. It might be their only win, though.
It might be their only win of the season, but, I mean, the Bengals lost this game in, like, stereotypical Bengal form. They put up 38 points. They're going to let up 40.
Yep.
So,
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Just makes sense at the end of the day. But good for the Jets for getting their first win. Maybe their only win of the whole season.
Finally. I mean, I don't really know what their schedule entails, but I know they play the Bills one more time. I think they play the Patriots twice. So those are going to be some tough games, at least for those 3, and I'm sure that the rest of it isn't too great.
Yeah.
Moving on now to something we had a little debate about yesterday as we were walking into one of our classes. It's about uniforms. And specifically, I believe that uniforms should not be worn that are from the pre-Super Bowl era. So, like, for example, the other night, Steelers-Packers, Sunday Night Football game, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Rodgers return against Green Bay in Pittsburgh. But the Steelers wore some matte yellow helmet.
I like the helmet.
I did not like the helmet.
I
think that was the worst part.
I think that was the best
thing.
part of the whole
That
uniform.
was the worst part of the whole thing.
Did you know that they used to wear yellow helmets, like with James Harrison and like when?
Yes, but they weren't matte. They were shiny.
I thought they were cool.
They were shiny, and I think that's a huge difference with yellow, especially. And then those Bumblebee jerseys that they were wearing.
Well, I liked the Bumblebees when Big Ben was on the team. Those were actually kind of cool.
Right, but these were like some racing stripe, like
weird.
referee looking jersey. I was not a fan, especially the tan pants. But those jerseys were from they predated the Super Bowl era. I believe that you should not be like not allowed to, but I don't think teams should wear their uniforms from that era or from that era before the Super Bowl era. What do you think?
I agree and I disagree at the same time. I agree to the point where if it's that bad of looking, and specifically for the Steelers this past week, they were the Pittsburgh Pirates when they wore those jerseys. They weren't even the Steelers. So when it's like a completely different identity, I agree. But you also have to think about these classic teams who have not changed their uniform at all. For example, the Packers are wearing their Navy jerseys this upcoming weekend against the Panthers. But since the Super Bowl era, they've never changed their jerseys except for the face mask color. And in the 90s, they had a G on the side of their shoulders, but that's been gone since. And I don't know. I think when you have a team that's so historic that can't do anything, I think throwing in a little leg to them, giving them their shot to shine with some throwbacks, let them do it. But
I get it.
Just not when it's that crazy like what the Steelers did this week. I'm not a fan of it.
I get it, but once again, like you can ask 1,000 people, you can ask 100,000 people, if what are the Packers' colors? They're gonna say white, green, and gold. They're not gonna say navy blue.
Yeah, that's true.
And I feel like I don't know. I just feel like teams should look good on the field, and I feel like I'm just sick of teams looking intentionally bad, which I think is fair. I don't know. I think that the aesthetics have been the best in the NFL probably that they've ever been, like across the board. But at the same time, you still get those duds of uniforms, and to me, they're just unnecessary throwbacks.
Yeah.
For people who don't know the people that were on those teams, they're not even like honoring the teams probably during the game. They're just wearing the uniform just for the sake of wearing the uniform. I personally just don't get it. I understand a throwback like the Broncos wore this week that they wore in the 80s.
Those are awesome.
That are some of the best uniforms of all time.
I still think that should be their. I like the uniforms now, but I still think that should be their uniforms.
I agree. I totally agree. And then you get ones like the Chargers wore on Thursday Night Football.
The Navies,
which were some
awesome.
of the best uniforms I think I've seen as well. But they wore those in the 2000s and the 90s.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. I think that's a little bit different. Obviously, a team like the Packers is more historic. You can reference a team like the Cowboys with their new all white and how they're a classic team, but they did it right when they brought out a new uniform. And,
yeah.
That white helmet's clean. The white pants are clean with the alternate white jersey as well. It's a different white jersey. And the Packers all white. We've talked about this a little bit too. I'm just not a huge fan because I think that the helmet looks like a Jets helmet on a Packers jersey, and I think it just needs a little bit of yellow.
I'll agree. I'll agree on the little bit of yellow. A little too all white.
A little bit all white, and I wish if they did go all white,
just go
full
white
and green.
Yeah.
I mean, just go white and green, ditch the yellow, and then have a day. But you good on the uniform talk?
Yeah, I'm good on the uniform talk.
All right, uniform talk. Let's get into the Patriots now. You want to make a few points about them in that game that happened in Cleveland.
It happened in
It happened in Foxborough against Cleveland, sorry.
But I just want to point out the Patriots have been rolling. They're on a 5-game win streak right now. And, Drake May's playing like an MVP. That's all great conversation. But what I want to bring up is the fact that they can let up 5 sacks from one guy and still find a way to put 32 points on the board. There's just a different culture there in New England. I'm not glazing. I'm appreciating. And I know everybody, it's only been 5 years, and we want them to be bad for the next 20. Well, this is a very likable team, a likable coach, and they're making moves. They just made 2 trades yesterday, and they're not shying away from competition. They went from, okay, we just want to be competitive this year to, holy shit, pardon my language, we can win the division right now. They're a full game ahead of Buffalo, and both the Bills and the Patriots' schedules are pretty easy this year, especially with how they placed last year. They have, against the placings in other divisions, they have a significant advantage to take advantage of their schedule,
right,
and potentially to win the East. I don't know if it'll happen. I don't think it will happen, but they have a serious case for it.
They definitely have a serious case, and honestly, at this point, I would believe them just based on their schedule. Once again, I would believe in them probably more to win the division than us. Maybe it's 50-50. I mean, probably I still believe in us more just because I am a Bills fan. But if I was on the outside looking in, I would probably say the Patriots probably have a better chance right now, just with their schedule and the way that how consistently they've been playing on both sides of the ball, and how inconsistently the Bills have been playing, especially on the offensive side of the ball, but definitely on the defensive side of the ball as well. Cleaned it up this week, which was a huge game as well. But I wanted to ask you something about Myles Garrett specifically before we get into the Bills-Panthers game.
Yeah.
Did you agree, because he set the franchise single game record for sacks?
Yeah.
They took him out though. In the beginning of the fourth quarter, they took him out, which is even more nuts as well.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that? And he was pretty pissed about that on the sideline.
I agree with Myles Garrett and being pissed. I think that you play to win. You don't play not to lose. And I don't know. I just, there's not enough energy in Cleveland, especially on that sideline. Especially with the coaching, I still think Kevin Stefanski has a really good shot of getting fired this year. I don't know.
I think he makes it to the end of the year, though.
I think so, too.
This point.
But it's such a frustrating team to watch in general, and such a bad situation for Myles Garrett. He should have gotten out of there. I don't care if he got paid. He should have gotten out of there. And it's sad that he's stuck in a place where if he's truly stuck there, he's never going to win a single ring in his whole career.
So let me point something out to you. Obviously, we talked about the trade deadlines coming up on November 4th.
Yep. Tuesday.
Which is next Tuesday. And I just got a Twitter notification or X notification from Adam Schefter.
Okay.
And it says, for those wondering if the Browns would consider trading Myles Garrett by Tuesday's deadline, the answer is, in the words of one source, quote, no chance.
Yeah.
And then source added, quote, people have better chance of winning the lottery. So he's not going anywhere.
He's their franchise player. He's a face of their whole franchise. You can't trade him.
Which is unfortunate for him because he's in a situation where I think it seems like 60% of the starters on their team are rookies or second-year players.
Yeah.
So a very young, inexperienced team. Hopefully in maybe 2 years they can be competitive. A lot needs to go right for them. They need to plug in the right pieces. Obviously, a guy like Jerry Jeudy probably won't be there at that point.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to replace him, which he's been a pretty solid receiver for them. But they have still good pieces. It's just, it's not all clicking there yet. Obviously, things happen week by week. Things happen, season by season. But the Browns right now look to be in shambles.
They do.
Once again, which is just unfortunate for Cleveland. And good thing the Cavs are good.
Yeah.
And the Guardians are pretty decent every year, so there you go, Cleveland.
They got something to look forward to.
Go.
Just not football season.
No, but I am looking forward to football season now once again because the Bills had a great win in Charlotte in Highmark Stadium South, basically, it looked like.
I think that's for every franchise that visits there.
They won 40-9. 40-9 against the Carolina Panthers in a
BTA
stomping win. We scored 40 in the third quarter, took everybody out in the third quarter. Panthers scored their only touchdown in the fourth quarter, so keep that in mind as well.
Yeah.
Josh Allen did not have the game that we wanted him to have, but it did not matter.
Not in this matchup.
Didn't matter at all because James Cook, when you have a guy like James Cook in the backfield,
feed him,
and he's playing like that, he had his best game as a Buffalo Bill this week.
Yeah.
19 carries. 216 yards and 2 touchdowns.
That's on the ground. That's not even receiving. I don't know what he did receiving wise, but I know on the ground, just pure dominance from the kid.
Did not have one reception.
That makes that stat line even more impressive.
Didn't even need it. Allen, he only completed 12 passes in this game. Only threw 19. 163 passing yards. Still pretty efficient for only 12 completions. Threw that 1 touchdown to Khalil Shakir, which I'm not sure how long it was, but it was at least 50 yards.
Mm-hmm.
That was an explosive play back-to-back from Cook's 60-yard run that he had right before that. Explosive game, that's what we've been waiting for on offense. I've been saying that. I've been preaching for that. Not necessarily taking the deep shots. And we tried a few, but they just didn't really connect in, especially to Keon Coleman, who is somebody that we really need to start getting going. He got bailed out this week. Because of Shakir's performance.
Mm-hmm.
He had 3 catches for 30 yards in some big spots, but at the same time, there were some balls where he didn't get there. The timing was off with Allen. They just need to get those little things down. And I think, honestly, at this point, you can point to it more as it's not a connection issue. It's more of Keon not understanding where he needs to be. And I believe he can get to that, but right now we need that Seattle Seahawks before he got hurt game from Keon Coleman. He hasn't been the same since
I agree.
Since he got hurt last year in that Miami game, but the game right before that when we played the Seahawks, he went off, had a great game. We need that Coleman back. That was in week 9 last year, I'm pretty sure. Maybe week 9 can propel him forward in
a full season
again this year. But we need to turn that around. But that's the negatives from the game. The defense, I thought, played really well with plugging and playing.
Yep.
Our D-line looks amazing. Michael Howicht, Larry Ogunjobi back this week. Howicht was definitely seen on the defensive side. I'm not sure how many sacks we had, but I feel like everybody on the defensive line had a sack. I know that Rousseau had one. I know that Epineza had one and a pick as well. Oliver had one. Howicht had one. One of the young guys got one. It's at least 5 right there. And I think some of them doubled up as well.
Yeah.
So great game there from everybody involved. Prater did miss a kick.
He did.
I'm being a little picky here, though. Big game next week against the Chiefs, 4:25 on Sunday.
You needed a morale boost for that team.
Yeah,
and especially, I haven't said once this year, that the Bills played actual defense. This is the first week where I actually can say that. Rest of the schedule, I can't say that they played good defense.
No,
so
I
it's
agree.
good that they finally... I know they didn't play the toughest team in the league, but it's a good way to get the morale for the defense up.
But it's been an offense, obviously, with Andy Dalton starting, but it's still an offense that's been rolling in the last few weeks.
Especially Rico Dowdle.
Rico Dowdle, which we stifled him this week. Chuba Hubbard, we stifled him this week.
Yeah.
Ted McMillan still had a decent game, but wasn't as explosive as he should have been. Leggett didn't have a great game. So we shut down everybody on their offense, which was great, and especially Andy Dalton. He was getting pummeled pummeled back there in the backfield. But once again, huge game next week, AFC Championship rematch in Orchard Park.
Boys are going to be buzzing. And honestly, I got to thank you because it's going to be a great film week for the Packers to really study the holes of that defense. So I don't know if Bryce Young is going to make it back this week or not, but either or, I think it's a good week.
I hope he does, because that team is just nothing without him.
Yeah.
And I think it really goes to show how far he's come since
especially this year.
Yeah, and especially this year. And how good that Panthers team can be. And how they can potentially, if they keep playing well, sneak into a playoff spot.
All right.
Potentially. But yeah, it's going to be a tough game this week against the Chiefs. I don't have much to say except that you got to beat them and you got to keep them down where they are. Try to keep them lower in the standings. Try to keep them out of the top 4. Try to get games away from Arrowhead this year.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest key for everybody. And if you have your chance to suffocate that team, to bring them down, you got to take advantage of it, especially at home, especially in a game where you need to win.
Yeah.
Too.
Especially with the Patriots playing the Falcons this week, who looked awful against the Dolphins.
We don't have many games left where we can say, "Oh yeah, we're gonna win this one." We don't. We really don't. Maybe the Jets game, but I think that's it. Maybe the Panthers game was 1-2, but even then, I was still kind of worried about that team.
Yeah.
But the Chiefs is definitely a game that you always get up for. You're always excited for, and hopefully this team gets excited more than.
Do you think they're gonna wake up with hot piss?
I'll say that I'll answer that when we do the picks later.
I like that. Got anything else on that game? I mean,
no, I think we should get into the Packers-Steelers game now, which
honestly, I want you to go first for that too.
I will go first. I think that was first of all, Tirico masterclass.
He was fantastic. Oh, who called the game for the Bills game right before we leave it?
The Bills-Panthers game?
Yeah.
It was not Eric.
It
was not Eric.
I didn't watch a single second of that
Adam
game.
Amon and Greg Olson.
Okay.
It was
Greg's
great to have
great.
Greg Olson on the call. He it was a great story actually. Him who was it? Him, Jonathan Stewart, and Luke Kuechly are all the coaches of
the high school team?
Middle school football team.
Nice.
Or the JV team or something. They went undefeated.
It's his
They
dad's
won the
team too.
championship. Yeah, and Greg Olson has 2 of his sons on the team.
Nice.
Those
That's
3 are
awesome.
the coaches. But I was thinking, like, imagine going to the field every day and your 3
Three
coaches are 3
superstars,
like superstar NFL players from back in the day that went to a Super Bowl, had one of the best cores of all time. That's unreal.
Yeah.
Head coach, offensive coordinator, and DC right there. That's unreal. But Greg Olson and Adam Amon were on the call there.
Nice. All right,
but
back
yeah,
to
Tirico masterclass. Unreal. Setting it all up, dramatizing everything with
as
Rodgers.
it should have been.
Rodgers playing his old team. That was all played up. It was great. The only downside to this game, once again, was the uniform matchup to me.
Okay. But we can get aside from that.
Yeah, I know. But the game itself was probably one of the best games of the season, honestly. It was exciting the whole time. There was explosive plays.
Especially your guy got an explosive play.
You really got to see... Yeah, my guy Roman Wilson had a huge explosive
his
play,
biggest play of his career,
which was amazing. I was so happy for him when he scored that ball. I think he needed that. He really did.
I was talking about the deep shot, not even the touchdown.
Well, both. He had a good game. I'm saying
he
in
had
general,
a great game.
He just needed
best game of his
that
career.
Game in general. I'm saying he needed something, I think, to propel him to have that confidence back that he had at Michigan, and have a QB that actually believes in him. I think that goes a long way, obviously, for a receiver. But I think this game, in a nutshell, showcased just how good Jordan Love is. Honestly, 360 passing yards, 3 touchdowns,
20 straight completions,
and really, I mean, it was kind of a breakout game for Tucker Kraft. I'm not gonna lie. 140. If you didn't really know the name before, you know him now. Kind of game.
Okay.
143 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns. Unreal stats from the kid. On the flip side, there, DK had a pretty decent game.
He did.
55 yards, 5 catches, had that touchdown as well. Roman Wilson was their leading receiver with 4 catches, 74 yards, and a touchdown. But I want to talk about Jalen Warren on the ground. Didn't score. He only had 62 yards rushing, but they were efficient in bruising 62 yards. He went through some Packers second guys in the secondary, picked up some huge first downs for them, as long as Kenneth Gainwell, too. And Aaron Rodgers had a pretty clean, efficient game.
He did.
I just think this was a good NFL game overall. from start to finish. I think the broadcast was great. I think the game was great. I think the
storylines, everything leading up to it was great.
The only thing that wasn't was the uniform.
Okay, yeah, we got it, yeah.
But I want to hear your thoughts about this emotional rematch.
Yeah,
or reunion.
This whole week was leading up to it was I didn't know how to control myself. It was a very emotional week, and just being a part of this game as a fan of one of these teams was going to be one hell of a week. Leading up to it, TikTok was flooded of A-Rod memories. There was actually this one that I actually almost shed a tear. I was actually very, very emotional when I saw one of these. And an Adele song was in the background, so you know that added to it. But up to the game, all the way up to the first couple of snaps, it was very, very emotional. Not crying, but just pretty down. And then I feel like the first drive for the Steelers ended. It was less about playing Aaron Rodgers, more about playing the Steelers for me. And I just want to say, I called it last week. Who woke up with hot piss on Sunday? The Green Bay Packers did. First half was not the greatest. It was pretty ugly, honestly, from the offensive side of the ball. Going down 16-7 going into the half was not fun. But when you have a run in the second half from Jordan Love, that defense, specifically I want to give out a couple shout-outs to Rashawn Gary and Micah Parsons, grabbed some sacks on the night. Absolutely great. I want to say I'm so proud, so very proud of Quay Walker, of his maturity that is completely different that we've seen in years past, because he gets poked in the eye by DK Metcalf, and in other years, he's officially getting dirty.
And I just want to point something out too. You bring in a guy like DK to the Steelers, and I don't want to say it's for a 1 year kind of rental thing, but this year kind of seems like it's a hey, we're going all in for the Steelers kind of year. With Rodgers, this being his last year, most likely. But I feel like you bring in a guy like that, and you can't have those moments. You can't, if you want him to be on the team longer than a 1 year rental, you can't have your franchise receiver going and poking people's eyes out. I don't know.
Especially on a third down.
I think a guy like him, he needs to understand that, and I thought this would come with the new change of scenery. I thought he would take a more mature role in this team, more of a leader type role, especially with the amount of leaders in that room. But I think at the same time, you look at the leaders in that room and you say, are those guys really leaders, like a Jalen Ramsey? I don't know. I think that he's getting bad mentorship right now, and I think that that's going to lead a bad path for the Steelers towards the end of the season, I think.
Yeah. Back to the Packers, though. Obviously, Tucker Kraft, you mentioned his name. 2 touchdowns on the day, 147 yards and 7 receptions. Absolutely masterclass of a game from him. This game just proved very, very much, which I said before the season, which I'll say again, he's our number one option. Give him the damn rock. And who else do you have to give the damn rock? The guy who scores a touchdown in almost every game, Josh Jacobs. Absolutely finds a way to get into the end zone. That was great. 2-point conversion to Romeo Doubs. Love that. That put up the Packers by 3 instead of by 2. That was a big momentum change right there. Defense found a way to rally against Raj. It was great. You could tell that this game was less about playing Aaron Rodgers and more about playing the Steelers. I loved that, keeping the calm composure on a Sunday night. I want to say shout out to the Packer fans who absolutely showed out for this game. Aaron Rodgers said he had to do a silent count in this game. He's never had to do that for a home team in a while, especially because he said he was used to hearing the Go Pack Go chants for 18 years, but not against him. And that was something that maybe he wasn't used to, which I was really excited for. Micah Parsons almost getting his second sack of the night. Aaron Rodgers felt the crowd coming. He said he heard the crowd. He got rid of the ball. Micah said that's true veteran leadership, and then Aaron Rodgers asked him to buy his house. Still isn't sold yet in Green Bay. Just an absolute amazing game. I think Jordan Love was really efficient, having 20 straight completions the first time since 2007, which was Brett Favre. So his efficiency, his yardage was great. He had a couple of touchdowns. He had 3 touchdowns in the day. Just loved the game from Love. Tucker Kraft. But there still is one hole on this team that I think isn't plugged yet, and these damn corners are just getting torched. Keyshawn Nixon had also a muffed punt in this game. That was not good.
No, that was not good.
I'm the guy. I mean, every single time he does something on defense wrong, I always say that's why he's a special teamer. And then he goes on special teams, and he muffs a punt, and then I don't even know what to say from there. What am I supposed to say? I can't. Like, this guy is just, he pisses me off every game.
Try offense, I guess.
I mean, he has some of the most pass breakups in the whole league, but he also gets torched all the time. And it was just that secondary is carried by the safeties. Having Javon Bullard, Evan Williams, and Xavier McKinney, they carry that secondary so much. But that D-line is really something that I'm very proud of. Finding a way to get to Raj a couple times. Just an overall great second half performance. And if they can play the way that they play in the second half for games, this team can go far away. But I still think that they have to go out and get a corner before the trade deadline ends up on next Tuesday. But great game from the Packers. Go Pack go. 5-1-1. Panthers this week. Just got to take it one game at a time.
Great mentality halfway through the season. And because it's halfway through the season, let's talk about some teams that we're looking at the standings here. Let's talk about some teams that are on the outside of the playoff picture right now, but we think that could, by week 18, could be in the playoff picture by that time. So let's start in the AFC. And real quick, I honestly think this is kind of between two teams.
I agree.
In my opinion. It's kind of sectioned off in the AFC especially. You get the lower tier with the Raiders, the Ravens, the Browns, the Dolphins, the Jets, and the Titans. And then you have that middle tier, which just includes, to me, the Cincinnati Bengals. They're kind of just there. Mm-hmm. And then you have the teams that have a shot, which are the Jags and the Texans to me. And I'm going to say the Texans have a better shot than the Jaguars. And I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
I think it's because, like we talked about last week with their defense, I think that their defense is stepping up. I think that their schedule gets easier. And I think that their offense is finally going to get healthy after this bye week. Nico Collins is most likely going to be back this week. Mm-hmm. And their offense, when everybody's healthy, can be clicking. It just depends on C.J. Stroud.
It does.
I think second half C.J. Stroud is going to be different than first half.
I do too.
And yeah, if you want to.
They just have a matchup this week that I think is really going to determine if they're a playoff team or not. If they're playing the Broncos, that's a great team that they have to go in and they have to play them. I think it's at home though. That's going to be a good test for this Texans team to see if they could play a full 4 quarters, especially in the second half of the year. We'll see how it goes. I think it's going to be a good game. I'm also not going to leave out the Ravens from this conversation. I think that's the only other team that I think. Honestly, the two teams I would say are the Texans and Ravens. I think the Jaguars will have a fall off. I don't think they're making the playoffs. But the only reason why I'm including the Ravens in this conversation is because of a divisional championship. Because I think in the North it's pretty open with the Steelers losing this week. And the Steelers' schedule only gets harder. And with the Ravens getting Lamar back this Thursday, especially playing the Dolphins, that can bring them up to 3-5, and then it's just taking one game at a time from there. I think that defense has a lot of holes, but I think the North's pretty wide open, to be honest with you. And it's really funny because the Ravens at 2-5 are betting favorites to win the North, but I think that truly can happen, especially if the Steelers do fall off, because their defense is still letting up like 30 points a game, which is not the way that Steeler football is usually played. I think that I'm going to include the Ravens on this conversation. I don't know if they can outlast the Steelers. The Steelers just have to keep winning a game here and there, honestly, and the Ravens need a lot to get into the playoffs. But I'm still going to throw them in the conversation just purely for the fact of having Lamar Jackson on their team.
I think the Ravens are done. I think that because even with Lamar coming back, I think they're a lot like the Bengals from last year.
Just too little, too late.
Too little, too late.
Yeah.
I think they'll end up with maybe 10-7 record. The playoffs, I think the benchmark is probably gonna be 11 wins to get in. If I had to guess, probably 11-6.
Yeah, I agree there.
Probably what it's gonna be. So, and I don't think that they're gonna go, 9-1 in their last 10 games. So, I think for that reason, I think the Ravens are gonna be out. So
all right,
they'll miss it out. They'll miss out this year, but they'll have a worse draft pick than they should.
Yeah.
Moving on now to the NFC. This is where it gets very interesting because it's a very injured NFC, especially at the bottom, which is why some of these teams are at the bottom, like a Vikings, like a Commanders. But I'm going to go with the Cowboys here, I think, because even though this team is sitting under 500, 3-4-1, their offense is one of the best offenses in the league. They're getting CeeDee Lamb fully healthy back now.
Yep.
I mean, he's been back, but now he'll be probably fully healthy. George Pickens has been playing his best ball of his career, potentially.
Yeah.
Javonte Williams, you could say the same about him.
He is playing the best ball of his career.
All they need to figure out, I think, is their defense.
Yep.
Tighten that up. I don't think you can exclude a Carolina Panthers from this debate. I don't think you can obviously exclude a Chicago Bears. Those are the three teams that are sitting out there. But if I had to pick out of those three, I feel the most confident in the Cowboys in that leadership in Dak Prescott that can carry them into the playoffs potentially.
Yeah, the only team I was going to mention here was the Cowboys as well. And I think if they can find a way to string out some wins and find a way to get a second half of the season where they are above 500, that tie can help them out a lot. Especially when you have teams like the Bears and the Panthers who are hovering around 500. Having one less loss than them can help propel them into getting into the top 7. But this top 7 is really good. And I think it's going to be really hard for any of these 7 to really drop out. But if there were to be, I think the Cowboys would plug in and have competitive games in the playoffs with some of these teams in the NFC.
Yeah, it should be an interesting playoff picture, especially in the NFC this year. A team like the Falcons could potentially sneak back up there with 2. It just depends on which Falcons are going to show up every week.
Exactly.
They've been definitely probably the most inconsistent team in the league. But let's get into right now, if you want to get into your FMVP and your MVP. And the FMVP and the MVP are presented by Gavin Williams.
Yours truly. We had a great week of football from some guys. Absolutely a great week. I had to take a step back this morning. I had my FMVP and MVP figured out. I had to take a step back this morning. I was a little too biased. So I had to take a step back, restructure my FMVP. And for this week, I'm going to go with a guy who's actually just been having his best statistical year. A guy who you can pretty much throw in your lineup and you know he's getting at least 28 points. I'm going to go with Jonathan Taylor for this week.
Great choice.
He had 37.4 points, and you're going to wonder why. Dude put up 3 touchdowns, 2 on the ground, 1 receiving. He had 12 carries for 153 yards. You might have asked, is this a James Cook week? Jonathan Taylor just gets it done every week. He hasn't been my FMVP yet. I think it's because we didn't have the first couple of weeks on because we were dealing with this podcast room situation. But now that we're on, he's officially a member of the FMVP conversation. And in my opinion, not like a weekly MVP, but an overall MVP for the entire NFL season. I think he should be in conversations so very much right now. He's on track to have a historical year.
I agree, and we were going to talk about the MVP a little bit today, and once again, we sat down and we were like, we just don't think we can do it this week. I mean, it's another week where the muddied waters, I guess, are out in play, and last year was a little bit more crystal clear. The bottom of the lake, you saw Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. Now you don't see anything.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you see Jonathan Taylor a little bit, but I think injuries have a lot to do with that. But I like that a lot. I think Jonathan Taylor should be right now the front runner for MVP.
I also agree.
And Ian said it.
Yep.
Ian said it when he was on here, and I was not believing it at the time, but I think the last 2 weeks and the last week definitely have solidified it for me.
And I think if you take Jonathan Taylor out of the Colts, that's not the same team at all.
He just adds such a dynamic. I mean, their passing attack has been really good this year. Mm-hmm. You can argue that it's because of the running attack.
It's opening it up.
Yeah, it's definitely opening it up. And those routes to and Alec Pierce, who you said before the podcast is having a pretty decent season. Michael Pittman, who had a great bounce back year this year.
Yep.
And including a guy like Tyler Warren, who's just such a reliable threat.
Josh Downs
on that offense. Yeah, they're kind of loaded.
I think
low-key loaded.
I really thought that they were just a quarterback away from being a good team. Throw in Daniel Jones, and they are a good team.
They found it.
So I'm going to open up this MVP conversation for Week 8 with a question. It's not a rhetorical question. I'm going to ask you, Charlie. Do you know what Sunday was?
It was National Tight Ends Day.
It was. And who won National Tight Ends Day? I'm going to interrupt you. Tucker Kraft won.
He did.
National Tight Ends Day.
There you go.
I want to give a shout out to Rob Gronkowski. he predicted that Tucker Kraft would win the national title. It's not a thing to win it, but who would have the best week? And he guessed that Tucker Kraft would, and he guessed correctly because this guy had 143 yards receiving. But I want to point out something that's very special about this 143-yard game. Okay? 131 of those yards were yards after catch. That is unbelievable.
From a tight end?
From a tight end. And this is the third most in any game by a tight end since 2016. And that's when they started to calculate and track this information.
Jeez. That's incredible, actually. Wow. I was kind of, I don't want to say I think a tight end should get it. I think he probably is the best one. I think it was just a little bit disappointing it was another Packer, but he deserves it, though. So it's like, I don't know. It's one of those,
I just couldn't leave him out.
But I totally agree. I think National Tight Ends Day, you have to have a tight end win the award. I think also I was a little bit disappointed because I was hoping it'd be James Cook this week.
It was between the two guys.
And I was hoping he was in the running, which he was.
He was. But
tough decisions though at the end.
Yeah,
of the day.
it was. And just something I want to point out about Tucker Kraft. I think it's time to stop leaving him out of conversations. And those conversations are, I truly do believe he is one of the best tight ends in this NFL league. I think we have to throw way more respect. And another reason why I'm putting him in the MVP for this week is he had some tough matchups. I know the defense is tough, but I also want to point out something that when you are a tight end, it is half and half. It is half receiving and it is half blocking. And I saw him on a couple plays, and who was he blocking? TJ Watt.
TJ Watt.
And he did not disappoint. He really didn't. And I think that is what propelled me over James Cook, is because when you have matchups against TJ Watt and you're getting it done, I'm throwing you in the MVP for the week. I also just want to point out, because we were talking about MVP, I know he's not a front runner right now, but I think Jordan Love needs to be in more talks of being a great quarterback.
I think he's definitely talked about being a great quarterback.
But
I think
specifically
in the
MVP conversation,
I think if he keeps having weeks like he did this week, I think it only takes 2 or 3 of those weeks in this season.
No, I do too.
To really propel him forward, especially late in the year. I think that's going to be. I think that's a good way to put it this year. Is like there's not a first half MVP in the NFL. And I think, honestly, it'll just come down to who plays the best in the second half, and that'll be the person that wins the MVP.
I agree.
So, the person who makes the biggest plays at the biggest moments at the biggest time in the biggest games.
And this is why I didn't talk about these two guys too much when I was talking about the Packers, because I knew I was going to bring them up later. I'm going to compare this guy with some stats. I'm going to do a blind stat. I'm going to ask Charlie if he can guess who is the other guy on this conversation.
Love it.
So I'm going to give you Jordan Love stats, okay? So his completion percentage is 70.9. Passing yards is 1,798. His average passing per yard, 8.4. Or sorry, yards per attempt. His yards per game, 256.9. Passing TDs is 13. Interceptions is 2. And his passer rating, 112.8. So very, very solid stat line.
Very solid stats.
I'm gonna give you another name on the other side though. Completion percentage is 68. Yards per attempt is 7.9. Yards per game is 222.9. Passing touchdowns is 12. Interceptions is 4, and his rating is 103.6.
This is Josh Allen.
This is Josh Allen. And the only thing is, I'm completely leaving out every single rushing stat that he has, because he dominates most quarterbacks when it comes to rushing. But I just think that this is where we need the respect factor for Jordan Love.
I agree. I think a lot of it, obviously, this year is how conservative that the Bills' offense has been. I think if you watch the games, you can see how that is it 500 yards difference in the passing yards. Like it's a significant amount. Like it's like
no, it's only like 300 yards.
But still, like that's a full. I mean, over the course of time, that's 60 yards a week over the last 5 weeks, where we've been pretty conservative and not airing the ball out. I think that's more of a stat where, you can give credit to Jordan Love, but it also goes to show how bad the play calling has been for the Buffalo Bills.
Oh, one more thing that I left out.
Josh Allen should not have. He should have more than that.
He should have more than Jordan Love.
He should have about 1,600 passing yards to this point.
I think he should have 1,800 for his brand of ball. Something I left out for Tucker Kraft. He led the entire league in receiving yards. That's another reason why I chose him as my MVP for the week. The entire league. The guy who came in second was Roma Dunze with 30 less yards. We have to think about Tucker Kraft, and he, in my opinion, I'm going to put him in there. I'm not going to say what number, but I'm going to say he's a top 5 tight end in the NFL. Not going to say what number, but top 5.
We could do a top 5 episode soon.
Yeah.
I think that would be good for this point in the season. I think that tight ends are a great debate for this season because there's a lot of good ones.
There is.
But yeah, are you good with your MVP?
Yeah, I just want to point it out. Tucker Kraft, you're a beast. Keep eating. And I don't know if you saw again, he did the flip up again from his back to his feet. That's just so cool. And I just want to give a little shout out to the Green Bay Packers for staying composed during that game, especially when they're in a fight and Romeo Doubs is near the sideline twerking. I think that's hilarious. Living rent free in the Steelers' heads that whole game. That was great. We're gonna move on. We had the great talks. Now we gotta get serious. We have Week 9 picks.
Our Week 9 picks. It's just huge. Good week last week, but right now there's 4 teams on a bye.
Yeah,
it's an interesting 4 teams. It's 2 ends of the spectrum.
It is.
On one end of the spectrum, you can choose whichever side you want to be on. You got the Browns and the Jets. On the other side, you got the Eagles and the Bucks.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Big difference.
Big difference.
Huge difference. But let's go game by game as we do every week and pick these games. Starting with the Thursday night game, which is the Ravens heading down to South Beach and taking on the Dolphins. 2 teams who have been underwhelming this year with bad records. Who do you think is going to take this one?
Oh, Lamar's back this week. Give me the Ravens. All I got to say.
I think the Ravens, too, in a hometown kind of game, homecoming game for Lamar. He's from Florida, and I think he's going to ball out in the Florida heat. I think he's going to love it. I got the Ravens as well.
Next game, we have 49ers at Giants. Specifically with the injuries, I just can't pick the Giants. Give me the 49ers.
Yeah, give me the 49ers, too. I just can't justify picking the Giants. Maybe if they had Skadaboo, but the way that McCaffrey's playing right now,
yep,
the Niners. I'm going with them.
Next game, we have Chargers at Titans. I'm going with the Chargers. I'm not going to explain too much.
Yeah, I'm going with the Chargers, too. The Titans are just, unfortunately, not a great football team.
This is very true. We have the Vikings at Lions, a little NFC North matchup. We have a great game on our hands. Looking to be J.J. McCarthy's finally back, with Carson Wentz officially being out for the rest of the season with a shoulder injury. Give me the Lions here.
It's the wrong game for JJ to come back, guy. But I'm glad he's coming back, and he's going to be able to greet my guy, Aiden Hutchinson, and congratulate him on his 4-year extension with the Detroit Lions that he signed earlier today as we're recording this. So shout out to Hutchinson. Huge for him. JJ coming back this week. Roman Wilson. I mean, what a week. Blake Corum just needs to get in the end zone this weekend, and we're having a week.
All right.
But I'm taking the Lions in this one. I think that they're just going to overpower the Vikings, at home especially.
Yeah. Also, next game, we have the Falcons visiting the Patriots.
Super Bowl rematch.
Super Bowl rematch, 28-3. Got to figure out which version we're going to see from the Falcons. Can we see the Falcons that we saw on Monday night against the Bills? Or are we going to see last week where they played the Dolphins? And you know what? For that reason, I can't justify picking the Falcons. And I got to go with the team that's hot, that knows how to respond to adversity. Give me the New England Patriots.
It's a good pick, but I'm going with the Falcons.
I think it's going to be the good week.
I think the good Falcons are going to show up this week. And this might be just more of me hoping that the Patriots also lose to the Falcons. But I think at the same time, the Falcons really need to get back into the NFC playoff picture like we were saying. And I think that this is a game where you look at it for the Patriots, they haven't really faced as good of a team as the Falcons in a little bit.
That's true.
Besides the Bills, maybe. So I think that this is going to be a good test for them at home. They might be a little bit too comfortable right now. And I think that the Falcons are a little bit uncomfortable and they want to dig themselves out. And then they get too comfortable and then they fall back in. That's the Falcons right there. But I think the Falcons take that one.
All right. Next game up, we have the Colts visiting the Steelers, which Colts correspondent Ian Kennedy will be attending.
He'll be live and reporting at the game. Maybe not reporting, but he will be at the game, having a day with Dylan Norton, who is his
shout out Dill,
one of his guys, who is down in Pittsburgh right now. And it's a big game for both of them because he says that he goes to every Colts game in Pittsburgh. Ian said that. And he has. He's gone to the last 3. Right now, I think he said he's 1-1 in the game. So this is a huge game, game 3 in the series. I think the Colts take it. I think they take it on the road. It's not going to be a bounce-back game for Raj and the Steelers. This is when you might see, like you said, the Ravens might come passing by them. I don't know if that's, for me, how I feel about that, but this could be the week where you start to see that progression. I got the Colts.
I think this is a great week to have a bounce-back game for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think that Raj can really – I think there's a little bit this defense is good, but I think that he can find the holes in this defense. But I also think Jonathan Taylor's going to go off. Give me the Colts. I mean, I cannot justify picking the Steelers here. Give me the team that's the hottest in the NFL right now. Give me the Indianapolis Colts.
I really thought you were going to go with the Steelers there, and I was going to be very shocked. This is a very interesting game, this next game. Broncos at Texans.
Very interesting.
Touched on a little bit. Two teams that, they should be in very similar spots, but their records say very differently. 6-2 Broncos, 3-4 for the Texans. You could justify picking the Texans. I had them written down at one point, but I flipped it back, and I have to go with Bo Nix and the Broncos.
I also think, in my opinion, this is a must-win game for both teams because I think that AFC West is super competitive between three teams. And then I think the South, the Texans obviously need to win to be within division with the Colts. I don't think they're going to catch them this year. I really don't. But they need that 7 seed, that 6 seed. So with a lot on the line, I think the Denver Broncos will get it done. I think that defense knows how to rally against good teams. Like we just saw last week. I know they let up 24, but to that Dallas Cowboys offense, that's okay. I think they will let up less points to the Texans this week, and the Broncos will figure out how to get it done in NRG Stadium.
Bears at Bengals is the next game. Orange Bowl. Is this the Orange Bowl? I don't know. I'm going to go with the Bears, though. I think that you could pick a Bengals in this game, but I think that the Bears, disappointing game last week. I mean, you lose to the 1-5 Ravens without Lamar.
Yeah.
Tough game in Baltimore. You're going on the road, staying in that division on the road this week, going to Cincinnati. A little bit of a closer travel game.
Not too far.
So I'm going to go with the Bears in this game.
This is a good game. We've seen Joe Flacco past couple of games really pop off with his stats. I do think that this is like a different kind of culture right here. I like Ben Johnson in this game with some great play calling, maybe some crazy play calling. I'll also take the Bears here, even though that hurts me to say that.
Panthers at Packers, next game. Low-key a huge game for the Panthers. And I think that they're going to come out firing in this game. I really do, and especially if Bryce Young is back. I think he's going to have a chip on his shoulder saying, hey, I don't play like Andy Dalton. I don't want to say that this is a system that's built around, that kind of frame of quarterback. I'm Bryce Young, and I'm going to ball out, but I still think the Packers win the game. Like you said, I think that Ted McMillan has a good game against some of your, questionable corners.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, I think that Packers offense, Josh Jacobs, is going to have a bounce-back game after having only 33 yards and a touchdown, but still only 33 yards on the ground. I think he's going to have a better rushing attack this week against a team who just let up 215 yards to James Cook by himself. So, I got the Packers.
I think this is a great week to have a team that's hot stay hot. And I'm not saying the Panthers are a bad ball team because they're not, but I think this is a good team where you can play a team like the Panthers and you're going to get punched in the mouth, but I think that this is a team that you can respond against very well.
It's a team you punch in the mouth, but you knock down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think
you get punched in the mouth. Sorry.
I think that the Packers are going to win this game. Not going against my pack. I think that this could be a great game, especially for Jordan Love, especially for Josh Jacobs that you just mentioned. I think this could be a 75 to 100 rushing game for him. He couldn't really get it done last week. That is a good D-line that he was going against. I think this is a worse D-line. I think that he can eat in this game. And I want to feed the rock to him. Feed the rock to I was going to say Justin Tucker. Feed the rock to Tucker Kraft, my guy, my MVP for this week.
Really? Come on.
And here we go. Go Pack Go. One game at a time. In the retros, in the uniforms that you hate. Let's go get them.
In like, this is another thing. It's like you're wearing them against a team that came in the league in 1995. I don't know. Whatever. You couldn't wear them against like the Cardinals or the Bears or something. I don't know. That'd be cool if you actually wore them against the Bears and they wore their white throwback uniforms that they had. I think that's cool, and they wear throwbacks at the same time when it's a two different aesthetic game. I just don't appreciate that.
Okay.
Back to the uniform talk right there.
Yeah.
Saints at Rams is the the final game that we're going to be picking here. I have the Rams. I just can't pick the Saints. I think that they're awful.
I agree.
They're awful.
Give me the Rams here.
Jags at Raiders. And I think in this game, Brock Bowers might be coming back for the Raiders. Still, I don't think it'll be enough against that Jags offense, who is picking up in recent weeks. And Trevor Lawrence has steadied out his play. I think that the Jags take this one.
I'm going to agree. It's not enough at all. Give me the Jags here. I'm not going to explain myself.
Chiefs at Bills. Huge game. I want to hear your thoughts first before I go.
I think this is the biggest game of the year for both these teams. I think with the Chiefs being hot, they have to find a way to go into Buffalo and shut the Mafia up. And that's tough to do when you're in Buffalo. The only time we've seen it this year was when New England did it. And that was a game that there was a questionable play calling. I think with the questionable play calling, I don't see myself going against the Bills a lot this year. But this week I will. I will go with the hotter team right now, even though the Bills are coming off a really good game. I think this is a lot better of a defense you're playing this week. And I think that this is a team that can also, in years past, find holes in the defense against better Bills defenses. I think that this might be a way better game for Pat Mahomes. I think a guy to watch out for in this game is Rashee Rice. He's been playing great ever since he got back from that 6-game suspension. And I know the Packers have some holes in the corners. I also think the Bills have some holes in that position as well. And with that being said, I have Patrick Mahomes having a great game and potentially his first win in Buffalo ever. I'm going to predict it. Give me the Chiefs here.
He's won in Buffalo.
He has?
Yep, COVID year. He won.
I thought you guys won that game. Well, for a second career win in Buffalo, give me the Chiefs here.
Well, the CFO is not going to like that pick.
The CFO or the executive producer, they're both going to be really mad hearing that right there.
But I think they'll like mine.
On his birthday. Shout out to Frank Calieri. Happy birthday this Sunday.
That will be his birthday. We'll be watching that game in the 716. It'll be I think my first time watching a Bills game at home this year, which is pretty big. Bills at Chiefs. I think they'll like my pick. I'm going with the Bills. I can't pick against them. I just can't.
No.
No matter what, even how confident I am in this team. But I am actually pretty confident in this game. I think that the difference between the Patriots coming to town and the Chiefs coming to town is a tired hatred versus an energized hatred.
Okay.
And I think that the Patriots one has been dragged out for so long. And I think that people are starting to get, it's starting to get energized a little bit again.
Yeah.
And I think that game energized it too. But before that, it was a tired hatred. Chiefs has been energized for about 6 years now.
It's very true.
So whenever they come to Buffalo, I have a reason to believe that our fans are going to shut down that team.
And the regular season Bills.
Shut down the team.
Regular season Bills against regular season Chiefs. Historically,
and maybe this is a good thing if we lose this game. Maybe I'll be sitting here next week saying, hey, maybe we'll beat them in the playoffs if we lose in the regular. Maybe that's what we have to do. I don't know. It's tough to beat a team twice.
It is.
Especially when, you play them every year, too.
Every single year.
But I got the Bills.
Is this a Tony Romo and Jim Nantz game?
If I had to guess, 4:25.
It's got to be, right?
On Sunday. There's only 3 games in the 4 o'clock window.
So it's
Saints,
gotta be
Rams,
CBS.
Jags, Raiders, and this game. So I think all eyes will be on this game. And I think that the Bills take it.
All right. Next game up on Sunday night. Kind of wish that Bills game was on Sunday night. We got the Seahawks and Commanders. I'm not looking forward to this Sunday night. I'm just looking forward to 4:25, to be honest with you. In this game, I have not seen enough from the Commanders this year at all from what they were supposed to be. And I've seen a lot from the Seahawks I did not think I was going to see. So I'm going to take the Seahawks here, especially with the way that defense has been playing this year. I think that this could be a game where you look after and you're like, wow, JSN is that guy.
I was a Seahawks believer before the season. I really was. A lot of people were down on them, but I'm gonna pride myself on that I was one of the people who actually believed in Sam Darnold, that he can do it again.
Yeah.
And believed in all those young pieces after they moved on from DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, brought in Cooper Kupp, JSN with a more expanded role, Kenneth Walker having a decent year. Once again, Commanders with just too many injuries or injury bugs for me to pick them, and I'm going to go with the Seahawks on the road in Washington.
Last game.
Which I think that the Commanders might be wearing their throwback uniforms.
Those are delicious.
This week.
Those are great.
If I am remembering correctly. If not, don't quote me on that. It'll be coming soon.
Those should be their uniforms too. Those are awesome. Those are great.
And I think they might be in the near future, but
We'll see.
That's for another time. Monday night game. This is definitely a Monday night game.
This is 100% definition of a Monday night football game.
Cardinals at Cowboys. I think the only thing that could have made it better is if it was in Arizona.
Yeah, it would have made it a lot better.
But you think about the Cardinals on a night game, you don't think about a Thursday.
Or
You don't
Sunday.
think about a Sunday night football
No,
for
God,
sure. I
no.
don't remember the last time the Cardinals played a Sunday. I don't think they know that Sunday night football exists. But Monday night football is their thing.
It is.
It's their thing.
The Red Sea.
But in this week, they've had a pretty disappointing season to this point. A lot of games that they think should have gone their way that they've fallen short in. I think this is going to be no different. I think that the Cowboys take this one. And I think that their offense and their defense actually plays pretty well this game too.
Before I give my pick, I'm going to do my weekly shout out to Luke Strasburger. Insured by Luke. Got a free quote today. Help him reach the 20K in the month of October. He'll give you a free quote. Hey, and if you give him a lead, he's going to give you a $25 gift card. So give him a call today. Give him a ring. Give him a DM. Give him everything you can. Shout out to Insured by Luke, my guy. But I will say, 4 years ago today was the Adriel Jeremiah game. 4 years ago today.
We brought that up a lot. I think the last 3 episodes that's come up.
I have to put, it's the official anniversary of 4 years ago. Well, love you, Strauss, but that was a game to remember. I know it was for you too. Hey, like I said, help him get to 20K this month. Shout out Insured by Luke. But I got to go with the Cowboys here.
Wow.
I don't think that Arizona defense is ready for this Cowboys offense. So I will take the Cowboys, but help Insured by Luke get to 20K this month.
All right, there it is. Shout out to Luke.
Going for a record.
Wow.
For the Goosehead Insurance.
There you go.
Go get him, Strauss.
There you go. Those were our Week 9 picks and a little bit of a insurance plug as well. Should be a good week of football. We laid it all out right there. Some good games on. A lot of 1 o'clock games this week. So get ready at 1 o'clock. That'll be a good time.
We have a weird window for the first time in my house. Mm-hmm. All 4 of our teams play at 1 o'clock, and we have 3 TVs. This could get interesting.
Wow.
This could get interesting.
That's very interesting.
Now, it's whoever calls dibs first for the big TV. That's the TV you want. I don't know who's going to get dibs.
When does that come into play, though? When can you
I
call?
Think
is that when the
Saturday.
pre-game's on? Oh, Saturday?
So we've all called dibs
Wow.
sometimes on Saturdays. I think we might have to just do a coin flip.
Are you thinking between...
I think we got to pull our names.
Are you thinking within 24 hours?
What?
Like, is that the rule?
That might be. I think we just got to put our names in the
Saturday?
hat. I think we got to put our names in the
You really
hat.
want to take that chance of not getting the Packers on TV?
Worst case scenario, I go upstairs and not enjoy the 1 o'clock window with the fellas. I can't watch that game on a laptop. I can't.
Well, if you're willing to do that, man, I mean...
We'll figure it out.
I guess.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Thank you guys for listening. And as always, make sure you follow us on our Instagram.
At Out of Bounds Podcast with a dot between every single word.
Yes, it is, Gavin. And you got anything?
Go Pack Go.
Go Bills.
1 game at a time. Enjoy the Week 9. Officially halfway through. And, yeah.
Have a happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Have a day.
Have a day.